Hey you, what it do? Welcome back to my channel. This is Alex Eyecough speaking to you, and I'm painting for you. This is kind of a continuation of a previous video that I had done reviewing the Lukas Brand Fluid Acrylic paints from Jerry's Artarama. And my claim is that these are the more cost-effective alternative to Golden Fluid Acrylics. I know a lot of professional acrylic painters use the Golden Fluid Acrylic line, and it's because they're just one of the best, if not the best, but they are priced accordingly. They are priced as if they are what makes you good at painting. That's how expensive they are, and it's kind of hilarious when I think about how much money that Golden Fluid Acrylics cost. I'm not saying they're not worth it. They're very good paints, but it just kind of tickles me, when somebody asks for a commission painting and they're like, well, I want you to paint this for me, but I'm on a budget. And I'm just like, you're on a budget? I gotta buy paints. Have you seen the price of Golden Fluid Acrylics? It's outrageous. You're on a budget. How am I supposed to make money? How am I supposed to eat? You know what I'm saying? But that's a different story. And, I think my remedy to that problem is, first, just command what you are worth from your clients. In a polite way, of course, because they don't always understand what goes into this stuff. And secondly, explore alternatives for the products you're using. I'm not saying go out and use cheap paints, because a lot of times you can tell. It does make a difference with the quality of the tools and the paints that you're using. The best painters in the world can use shitty brushes and shitty paint and still make them look good, right? But your job is just going to be a lot more enjoyable and a lot less stressful if you use the products that, make your process enjoyable. So do yourself a favor and start experimenting with different products and find one that really works for you, works for your style. And, I hate to be premature because I've only done, 8 paintings with this Lukas Brand paint, but based on the price and how comparable it is to Golden Fluid Acrylics, I don't know, I think I might be using these for some time to come. In my previous video where I reviewed this brand of paints, I mentioned how it's kind of transparent when you put it down. That's like my biggest gripe with these paints, although I do think Golden Fluid Acrylics aren't that much better in this regard, but you can kind of see I'm just applying paint straight out of the tube, right? And that's pretty transparent. I'm used to the medium body acrylics that the color that you see on the brush, it lays down on the canvas. These are just a little bit more transparent, so you got to do a little more layering, but I'm pretty motivated to just incorporate that into my style and see where it takes me. Just be organic with it. Don't force anything, just kind of learn how these paints work. I think it's worth it based on the quality of the pigments of the colors, the price, and the usability overall. You see here I work in just a lot of layers and going back and forth. And also notice how I am kind of priming the brush on the easel there. I kind of, I painted the brush on there in order to kind of prime my brush to become the shape that I want, kind of like gathering the bristles together so that they're smooth and come to a finer edge. That's a crucial part of my painting process and my technique. You can see there's, paint marks all over my easel, and that's from that brush priming process that I use in order to just, create the shape that I want the brush to be before I put it on the canvas. I feel like a lot of people spend time pushing paint around and smoothing it out on there, but you can really apply a beautiful juicy stroke with great intention if you just load the paint on the brush properly. That's just me. That's just my style. I don't know if it applies to you, but maybe it does. And if it does, you're free to experiment and hopefully take some inspiration from what you're seeing in front of you. Sorry for that autofocus issue that you're witnessing. Sexy drip. Sexy drip. Oh, will it get to the bottom? I think it will. You can do it, baby. Yeah, it did. It made it to the bottom. Anyway, yeah, so these are just images from... There's the autofocus again. Gosh, I keep getting my head in the way and it's tripping me out. I hope you guys don't have epilepsy. Anyway, for the third time, you can see that I'm referencing my sketchbook. This is my daily sketchbook. Every morning I'll do a little doodle, spend about 10-15 minutes just sketching whatever's on my mind. There's no rules, just kind of getting it out on the paper, doing little faces, doing little trees and whatnot. And, you know, every once in a while I'll do something good in the sketchbook and I'll be like, that would be a cool painting. Let's see what that would look like in color. And that's what I'm doing with this series of paintings. If you didn't see part 1 of this LUKAS Fluid Acrylic paint session, there's 8 paintings in total. The first video I show the painting process for the first 4, and this is the second half of that series. This is painting number 3. And the colors that I'm using are actually mostly straight out of the bottle, plus a little bit of white. As you can see, I'm heightening the tones here with a little bit of white added to it. And then I'm just kind of mixing the colors with each other to create a bunch of tertiary tones. I really just ordered a green, an orange, a dark brown, a light brown, I think it's burnt umber, and then sienna, maybe? I don't know. And then I got this yellow color. I think it's like a yellow ochre. And then I got a Payne's gray that I'm using for my more black tones. Right there, I think is the raw umber? Maybe I should double check that, but I'm too lazy. Anyway, I come back in later and do my darkest of darks with that Payne's gray. This is different. I usually mix a kind of blackish blue, and instead I just ordered the Payne's gray to kind of substitute from that. Historically, when painting with acrylics, I usually just use primary colors, and I just mix every single color that I want. And, you know, that was super helpful to help me understand color theory and to really gain control and command over, you know, the temperatures and the gradients of my color and just the palettes overall of my paintings. But, you know, it's time for change. It's time to switch things up in my process. I've kind of been, you know, whittling down my color palettes to a lot of earth tones, a lot of browns and greens anyway. So I figured, you know, I was ordering new paints with this Lukas Brand acrylic. I was trying it out. Why not just buy the colors I normally use and make it easier on myself? Save some time mixing the colors. You know, I don't have anything to prove. I know color theory. So I think it's just time to simplify and, you know, make my process a little bit more mainstream and just buy the colors I use. I can still get a lot of variance within that color palette by mixing those colors together and adding white. And, you know, it's really kind of endless, the kind of values and tones I can create with just a few colors. So that was my experiment with this series of paintings. I hope you've enjoyed this process. Hopefully this is helpful. If you're looking for an affordable alternative for Golden Fluid Acrylics, I highly recommend this Lukas brand. I'm going to continue using them. So if you like what you see, consider subscribing. I really appreciate you watching. Maybe give this a like if you wouldn't mind. It helps me out. Here's the final shots. Let me know which one is your favorite in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram because I'll be posting these for sale on Instagram very soon. And thank you for watching. I hope you tune in next time.